drugs. But this is mainly about stress.
Hello there, I'm very happy everyone can make it today. My name is Kenya. I'll be the clinical social worker and I'm a facilitator here in the group. I worked with therapeutic groups before within stress, and I'll just be leading out. Sometimes I'll be just observing, other times maybe leading a little bit, but I hope you guys can all share and benefit from this group. Just to start, I'd like for each of us to get acquainted, so if you guys want, I don't know who wants to start first, but just say your name and one ideal vacation that you would like to take.
My name's Zach, and my ideal vacation is going to Italy and swimming in the Mediterranean and eating fresh olives.
Okay, that makes fresh olives and going to the Mediterranean. Okay. Who else wants to go next? Okay.
I'm Anna, and my ideal vacation would probably be somewhere in France, like going to the city and then going backpacking throughout Europe. And after that would probably be what I would like.
Okay.
Yes, I'll go. I'm Rebecca Neighbors, and my ideal vacation would probably be going to Ireland and staying for like a month in a little cottage somewhere with a bunch of sheep on the hillside.
That sounds relaxing. So I'm hearing a lot of Europe. That seems like a common thing. That's cool. Okay.
I'm Robert Neighbors, and my ideal vacation is actually about the same as that. Going to Ireland, getting a little cottage, and just spending some time by myself away from people.
Okay. Oh, I think that's actually what Becca said, right? When you said Mediterranean. Okay, well, that sounds really relaxing too. Just to explain a little bit how the group's going to go, throughout the whole session, when you guys share your experiences, just make sure you try to make eye contact with other people in the group, because I know it's easy just to look at me, but it's just better if we all look around. That way we can feel connected that way. But anyway, it was nice to meet you guys. As far as the purpose of our group, this is a stress group, and we're going to talk about our different experiences and what brought us to this group and how we've dealt with stress. Hopefully we can learn and progress as we manage the different stresses in our lives. But in order to do that, we need to figure out rules. So I would say the best things is usually confidentiality and respect. How do you guys feel about that?
That's good.
Okay, so confidentiality means, just whatever we share in this group, we don't disclose outside of this group. And respect is just, respecting other people's experiences and letting each other have their own turn. And I think that would be a good idea. So I'm glad you guys agree. How this will be conducted? Well, we're going to meet every Tuesday at 7 for 40 minutes. And we're basically just going to do different activities and share and different things like that. And as far as expectations, I know I've been talking a lot, but what are some things you guys are expecting to get from this group? What are some hopes or expectations that you guys have? We're going to go around and share what those are.
To better manage stress in my life.
Okay, so to better manage stress.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
Ways that I can relieve stress and calm down in my busy life.
Okay, so to find some techniques to help with that stress that you have.
I would say probably the same, just to relieve stress.
Okay, so relieving stress.
I deal with the public, so I guess for me it would just be finding ways, like she said, to deal with stress in the midst of interacting with my clients on a daily basis.
Okay. Well, those are all good expectations. I hope that we can figure those, do those things that you guys expect in this group. I'm pretty confident that we will be able to. Also, an interesting thing is always knowing what brings you into this group. So what we're gonna do is just pair off into twos, whichever way you guys want, and just we were gonna introduce yourself and just share like what brought you to this group, and then we'll share amongst each other.
I'll go first. Well, my boss knew that I was very stressed from work and everything, so she strongly suggested that I come and do this group because to kind of make it easier on me and manage it better. So I'll be better at my position. I'll be better at work. I'll be more useful. So that's kind of why I did it.
I came here because of a lot of activities going on. I have a pretty busy, rigorous school. They expect a lot of me, and I'm doing like sports,
Just like stressful
athletics,
everyday
things
life.
like that. So I have a lot to juggle.
I have a
and
kid and I also
people
watch
at
some kids
in
and
class
just like normal
perform
household
really well, and
things.
they
It just gets like
expect
a little
you to
overwhelming
get
sometimes,
perfect grades.
I'm
And
stressed.
some people say I don't
Sick
handle the
baby
stress
or
well.
this or that.
So your parents kind of push you to go?
Yeah, I'm my teacher.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, it seems like we're all done. Now, I hope you guys remembered what your partner said, but what we're going to do is just whatever they told you, you're going to share with the group. And since we all know each other's names, hopefully by now, just share what your partner had to say. So, who wants to start?
I'll start. Anna, basically told me that she's here because her, stress from school and everything is very rigorous. The type of school she's done, and then she's doing sports on top of that, and so her parents and then her teacher, really wanted her to come to this class, to manage all of that better. So that's the main reason why she's here.
Okay.
Zach's boss thinks he needs to handle stress better so he can deal with his clients a bit more professionally.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So work and then school for Anna. Okay.
He said, Robbie said that he just works in a really fast-paced environment, has to deal with clients on a daily basis that are not necessarily the best people to work with, and it's just the best way to provide for his family. So always thinking about moving up that next step and stuff brings a lot of stress. So that's really
Okay. So work and then family, but dealing with the customers as well. Okay.
Rebecca, she's a stay-at-home mom. Deals with her own child, a boy. As we all know, boys can be stressful in and of themselves. But on top of that, she also watches some other kids throughout the week. So the combination of all the kids at home sometimes can be a little stressful. One's sick or misbehaving or whatever. So that's just a stressful situation in and of itself.
That's understandable. I can see how that could be a stressful thing. Well, just a quick thing to do. I see some of you guys are a little, I don't know how comfortable you guys are in the group, but what is one word you guys would say that explains how comfortable you feel sharing in this group? Just one word.
apprehensive.
Apprehensive. Okay. That's a good word, actually. I want to come back to that.
Anxious.
Anxious. Okay.
I'm optimistic.
Optimistic. Alright. That's good.
Necessary.
Necessary. That's the word you choose for how comfortable you feel in the group.
Oh, no, sorry, I thought we meant about speaking to the group. As far as being comfortable, I'm pretty comfortable speaking to people, speaking to the group. So.
Okay, so pretty comfortable. Okay, so you were optimistic and you were pretty comfortable and you guys are feeling a little apprehensive and anxious. Do you guys want to share a little bit more of why that is?
I guess just, opening up to people and sharing personal things. You just think about how people will react, what they will think. Are they gonna talk about it, you know, and I know that it's confidential or whatever it's supposed to be, but you never know, and I guess that's probably what brings up that those feelings. So.
That's understandable. It is our first time meeting here, so it makes sense. And for you?
It's hard to like admit to yourself that you have problems with stress or you're not handling things maybe how you should be. So I guess it's just not easy to admit that you're not perfect.
So that's understandable. So it makes you a little anxious then to think about it. You know? I see. Well, I hope you guys can increase your level of comfortability. I know it's the first time, so it's pretty normal if you guys don't feel as comfortable. To start off, we're going to do an exercise, and it's going to be a little bit fun. I mean, I'm just going to hand up a couple pieces of paper, and what it is just we're going to fill in the blank. There's 3 different sentences that we have. The first one says, the biggest stress for me at school or work is when, and then you fill in the blank. The second one, the biggest stress for me at home is when, and fill in the blank.
Just write the word?
Yeah, just write the word. And the third one way I cope with stress is. And these are just different things that you guys feel comfortable sharing. Just write them down. It helps to solidify what those different thoughts are regarding those questions. And as soon as we're done, we'll share with the group. Some of you guys are done. Wait a couple more seconds. Okay. Does anyone want to, or who wants to go first?
I will. The biggest stress for me at work is when I have an irate client.
We have an irate client. Do you want to explain more about that?
I help people in their financial life, with their finances. So a lot of times when, that's one of the biggest stresses in other people's life is their finances. So when they have an issue with that, sometimes it rubs off, or sometimes they bring it in and they relieve their frustration towards me. So.
Okay, so you get to receive all that stress from them, and I can see how that can be stressful. What were your other ones as well?
The biggest stress for me at home is when my honey-do list gets too long.
Oh, okay. I can see how that can be stressful.
That's good.
Okay.
And then the way I deal with stress a lot is drinking, unfortunately. So.
Drinking. Okay. And you felt like that's a good way to deal with stress for now?
No, not really, which is why I'm here. So it's one of those, the drinking can affect your marriage and it affects your kids, and it's not healthy by any stretch of the imagination. So just looking for some different outlets.
Well, that's interesting. That's good that at least you recognize that, if that's what the change you want to make. Okay, let's see what other people put for their list. I'm sure we could learn from each other as we listen to these responses.
I suppose for me, for number one, the biggest stress at work is, it's similar to his. It's an angry customer. someone who's upset, that they had a warranty claim or they didn't go through or they felt like they didn't get treated right. So that's probably the biggest stress at work for me.
Okay, so customers interacting with them.
Yeah.
What is it that you think whenever a customer comes to you and is like that?
Well, I think oftentimes they're unreasonable. They have unreasonable expectations, and I'm not a miracle worker,
Mhm.
So I think that's what they think. They come to me, I'm just going to fix all their problems. I just can't fix all of them. I can fix a lot of them, not all of them.
So it makes you think that you can't fix all their problems. How does that make you feel?
That I can't fix all their problems. I suppose it makes me feel a little disempowered, but it also makes me feel like they have unreasonable expectations. So it wears on me, after a while, because I don't have a magic wand to wave and fix everything. So it kind of wears me down after a while.
That makes sense. Just keep in mind as we talk about thoughts and feelings, when we say we feel, we try to always link it to an emotion. So a thought would be, I think I feel I think I'm disempowered. I guess disempowered would be an emotion. Never mind. But that makes sense why you would say that. I just thought to clarify that. Okay, what were your lists? Oh, you didn't finish? Oh, go ahead and finish your list.
The other one was, my biggest stress at home is when paying bills. I hate paying bills. It annoys me.
I can see that.
Well, I think that's normal though for people.
Mm-hmm.
And then my biggest way to relieve stress is to listen to music and have a hot shower.
Okay. I'm glad you have those coping mechanisms.
Yep, it works well.
My biggest stress at school is my teacher assigns insane amounts of homework, and she must think that I don't have other things besides school to do, and expects me to get good grades. My parents expect me to get good grades and do well in sports and help around the house after I get home from school and after I get home from soccer. So that stresses me out at home as well. And how I cope with it, I either go out with my friends or I stay home and get in a bubble bath, watch Netflix.
Okay. And how do you feel? Do you think that helps you with your stress, or are you
For a
happy
little
with it?
bit. And it
Okay.
helps me forget the things that I have going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing. I think so far you guys have similar things that bring you stress. It seems like it's almost the same. What do you guys think about that?
I would say probably. I'm assuming that you work with customer service.
In the public,
Yeah. So it's kind of it's fast-paced sales environment.
Always
A lot of
meeting
high
new
pressure.
people.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot of pressure associated with that.
Okay, and then you use the music and shower and you drinking. That's what has helped you.
I probably drink a little bit too.
Oh.
Maybe more than I should.
Okay. Let's see. Well, what about you? I haven't heard from you.
I guess my biggest stress at home just comes down to, watching the kids. Could be a number of things, that make a hard day when they're fighting, or especially if I have, I babysit a little girl, if my son and the little girl are butting heads, and some days, I get migraine headaches or something, and that's really rough, when you have, kids running around or whatever. But yeah, that's probably at home the worst thing, just, running around, keeping up with them, when sometimes I'm a lot more tired than they are.
Yeah.
I have a lot more energy than I do. And then at home, I guess it's a lot of the same too, but then, just not necessarily seeing eye to eye with my husband sometimes, when it's, we just think differently, when it comes to doing tasks and stuff like that. And in my mind, if I say a couple things in a row, it means you do them in a row. Sorry, I'm just really stressed out about it. But in his mind, you know, he'll like swap and do, like, if I tell him to do a second thing, he'll think like he wants me to stop doing the first, or him to stop doing the first, and he'll go do that. And so, you know, and then I'll ask him why that wouldn't be done. So it causes like a lot of strife. You know, and then a lot of times just my child like fighting sleep. It's just like, you know, mom stuff. And the way that I relieve the stress would be to eat sugar,
Okay.
or take a bath, or host friends over.
Oh, okay. Well, you said, oh, it's just this and that, but it seems like it's something that really stresses you out, you know?
I think just, I guess I say this or that because it feels like just normal life. It sometimes, like, even in my own head, it feels like it's not necessarily a job because it's not like outside the home. But at the same time, I feel like if I did get a job, it would be almost relaxing comparatively. So I don't know. I guess sometimes I write it off in my own head. I guess.
Yeah. Well, but it's bringing you a significant amount of stress. And you say that, well, it's a job, even though it's not outside. So I can see how that can be very stressful for you. What you guys have all heard different responses here. What would you guys say? Would you guys like to share any sort of input you have on each other's lists, or some ideas you guys have for each other?
The sugar is kind of a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, no, it is a good idea. You know, I've never thought about that. You know,
Or like hot tea,
hot tea's
coffee.
good. Yeah. That's a good idea for helping. I could see where that would help.
Okay, I haven't heard much from you. What do you think about the responses?
I think some ways of dealing with stress sound better than others, but I can understand how it could help you. You could think that it's helping you, or it really does just relieve the stress you're feeling, even if it's just for a little bit, a brief time of, you know, just sitting in the bubble bath. You feel so wonderful for like 30 minutes, and then you get out and you're back in the real world.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned something that I thought was interesting, like sitting in the bath or different things could just maybe make you be in a different place, and kind of maybe just that in and of itself is relaxing. So what are some things that you guys can think of that do that for you? I know we talked about different coping things, but what's an alternative to that you think you could also put it in your little list of things you use to cope with stress?
You know, laying on a hammock is very relaxing for me, and very, you know, just allows me just to kind of, you know, feel at peace. And so I think that for me, that would be a good thing for me to go do sometimes too. Go lay in a hammock.
Back when I was a kid, when I was in school, I've always been kind of like a math nerd, so I actually had a notebook, and whenever I would fight with my parents or whatever, you know, as kids do, I would go pick some random equation. You know, one of my favorites was Newtonian mechanics, so I would actually take different equations from that and solve it for each variable, and just get like really into the numbers. That seemed to help.
Okay, so that, I guess that's like a type of hobby for you, maybe? That kind of takes you out of your current situation and helps you relax. Okay. That's good. Well, I also want to do another check, because I know we did a comfort level check before. Now, this time we'll do it differently. Let's say if you're feeling a little better than last time, we'll go hands up. If you're not, then you're just going to go down like this. Okay? So just 1, 2, 3, just how are you feeling now? Oh, very good. I'm glad we're getting at least a little bit more comfortable here, which is necessary, you know, if we're going to share parts of our lives and stuff like that. Well, we have a couple minutes left in this session, but another exercise that I think would be helpful is do some sort of visual imagery. How do you guys feel about that? Have you guys done it in the past or no? Okay, well it might appear a little bit silly because I'm just gonna ask you guys to close your eyes and imagine something, but just kind of get comfortable with it, relax, and let's see, we'll go through this. So how we start is just lay back in your chairs and try to relax and just close your eyes. Get comfortable. Now, I want you guys to imagine you guys are a tree. What kind of tree are you? What are your surroundings like? What is life like a tree? How does it feel? What do you see around you? Okay, so you guys kind of get the picture. You guys want to open your eyes again. And who wants to share what they experienced as they were seeing this tree?
I saw a cherry blossom tree, and there was a river going by it, and the sun was shining, and the breeze was going through the tree. I just felt good and happy.
What about the cherry blossom tree made you feel like that's what you wanted to choose?
It was the first thing that came to my mind, and it's just beautiful and romantic and fresh. I don't know, signifies just like new things, new beginning.
Okay. Something new. That's what it brought to you. And what did you see when you looked at the tree?
Like just all like the pink like petals falling and like blowing in the breeze. And
It's actually a really nice picture now that I think of it. Okay, what else did everyone else think or imagine?
I was a weeping willow. It sounds different, I guess. It's sad nature, but you know, the limbs, they're not stiff. They're, you know, they can blow with the breeze really easy and just kind of go with the flow. You know, and I was out in a meadow with flowers and birds, and so that's kind of where I went.
So you said that it was flexible or stiff? What was it?
Well, the willow tree, you know, the branches, you know, all kind of hang down and they're very loose and kind of very flowy. So the branches aren't, you know, significantly, or not, they're not as stiff as a regular tree, I guess, and that's just kind of go with the flow. Or,
Do you think that kind of relates to something in your life, or?
I don't know. That's just kind of where I went at first. You know, I do like, you know, I would like to be able to just kind of go with the flow a little bit more, I guess, instead of taking the things that people say and kind of letting their agitation rub off on me. Just kind of go with it. But
Okay. Wow. So that's interesting. You were able to see that tree and somehow see how it could apply with your life. That's something to keep in mind, I guess, as we all share, to see how it does apply to our lives. Who else needs to share?
I pictured myself as like an oak tree in a forest in the morning, like the sun's coming up but it's still shade from all the trees. Like it's just really calm, wildlife's out, no people are around. It's just really peaceful. So,
Wow, that does sound very nice. So, I guess your tree is more of a solitary tree, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Okay. How do you see that applying to your life, or does that relate at all to?
Well, I guess I'm always like, life has gotten really busy in the past 2 years or so since I got into high school. I'm always like doing school or in my class or at soccer with friends. I'm always like around people, and sometimes, you know, I just want to be by myself and just collect my thoughts or something. feel like I'm always rushing to the next thing where I need to be next
Mm-hmm.
and I need to get done.
Wow. I guess imagining this tree would actually be helpful for you then, than going into your own little place in the world. That's interesting. Zach?
I imagine myself as a tall, straight cedar tree in a forest by a creek, maybe an old campfire nearby. And, sweet smelling, very sweet smelling. Something. I see a lot of trout swimming up and down the creek, and deer, and other wildlife, that kind of stuff.
So your tree sounds very, would you say, lively? Because there's a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. Very tall
Tall.
cedar tree.
Why do you think, what's the importance of the tree being tall?
I don't know, just like a tall cedar tree. Very old too. They're very old. Because taller ones are very old. So peaceful where it is. Not in the city, or in a big park. Very peaceful.
Okay. So how would you guys say this imagery related to your lives? I mean, I guess we talked a little bit about it, but what other similarities jumped out at you besides the ones we shared?
I just think it's interesting, like how different everybody's like visions were, and how they did kind of relate, like, to our lives, I guess.
Yeah, I found that interesting as well. Well, I think we're getting ready to wrap up, but do you guys want to say, is there anything else you guys want to say about the session? You guys are good. Yeah? Okay, well, thank you guys for coming. We'll see you again next Tuesday. And yeah, we'll see you then.
All right. Bye.